Cruden Bay is a beautiful wee village nestled near the most northeasterly point in Scotland. It hosts a world-famous links golf course played by thousands of golfers from all over the world. Many famous people over the decades have played golf here in Cruden Bay, some of who are featured in this video. Cruden Bay has also a wealth of Scottish history dating back to the year 1012, Battle of the Danes. More of that in later videos. This presentation is made up simply from an email being sent to me containing a short account of a period of time at the Kilmarnock Arms Hotel. In my own unique way, I formulated a script in my head and began to piece together the written words from that email, a very difficult task. And the rest, they say, is history. Angus and Madge Carmichael, arrived in Cruden Bay in 1947 after living in Carbridge, a village near Granton-on-Spey, and Madge's birthplace. Angus was demobbed as a major in 1946 and was looking around for employment as a hotelier, and it was simply good luck that he came across a column in the Present Journal that the Killie was for sale. Money borrowed, as it had to be done in those days, for indeed money was scarce, part family and part trust company from Inverness, he bought the hotel and arrived in Cruden Bay in 1947. Angus, born in Islay and being a Gaelic speaker, his mother tongue, would have found it a strange pilgrimage, the Doric being the predominant dialect. But he soon settled in and immediately found a rapport with the locals. Being a temperance hotel up to the late 30s, when it was sold by a Mr. Cruikshank to a namesake who ran a bus company, then sold on to an intermediate who sold it to Angus, it soon became the focus of the village. More so when the public bar was opened in the late 1950s. Previous to the public bar annex being opened, the cocktail bar, as it was known, and the only bar in the hotel accepted by all. Famous people too, Cliff Mitchellmore, a golf partner of Angus, for Angus had to learn to play the game simply for the benefit of his progression as a hotelier, trimming down his handicap to an 8. And in later years, Angus Carmichael became captain of the club. Lord Boothby also being a frequent guest, top professional golfers like Eric Brown and even the Celtic football team, Jock Stein and all, in the summer of 1955 or 56, stayed for a weekend at Kilmarnock Arms. Angus and Madge could have written a journal on the comings and goings of such characters who would, on the odd occasion in the midsummer, stagger onto the third fairway for a shot of golf. 1 hole later, back to the bar. Such were the times. As the golf course was his goldmine, apart from the bar and guests, Angus realised that without the course, the hotel would be a loss, as the golf course was going to be sold as farmland. The old railway hotel and course by then being bought by a John Adams and Company from the London North Eastern Railway. Their agent at the time, a Mr. Cormary, a Canadian, retained the railway hotel, thinking of it as an investment, then sold the course to Angus, along with Quinton Murray, a stockbroker for the princely sum of £2,750 in 1950.
Mr. Cormorant kept the Railway Hotel, but it was now sadly a ruin and of little value. Interestingly, the dance floorboards of the recreational hall at the Killie were from the old Railway Hotel. All types, weddings, birthday parties, and any excuse for a Friday night revelry. The large dining room downstairs used as a bar. Those same boards that Asquith and his political bandwagon would have trampled on with Winston Churchill. Throughout the years until Madge and Angus sold the hotel to a Mr. and Mrs. Phillips, the public bar became the focus of all enjoyment, mainly at the weekend. There was never any trouble, and the old nod and a wink and handshake was the stamp of any business deal, however large or small. It soon became the hub of the village and surrounding area, both farming folk and fishermen at the counter hatching dreams, and the dartboard became a harp of joy.
Warmth all around, a happy bunch of people simply having the occasion to swap gossip and mix easily among others of the same cloth and cap.
Madge Carmichael played a major part in organising the repertory company in the village, along with Mr. and Mrs. Bremner, who ran the chemists, Mr. Gibb, the butcher, James Murray, the head keeper of the golf course, and Jimmy Mathers, a local farmer. These mentioned are but a few who twice a year would act out a famous play in the village hall.
Madge was also a piano player, a wonderful dancer, but in her later years became saddened with the thought of having to leave the hotel. So they, Angus feeling the old bones creak, moved to a new house next to Open Hearth, designed especially on Angus's ideas, where they enjoyed their retirement until their passing.
Angus and Madge, with 3 growing boys, Alistair, Alan and Ewan to look after, also owned the field opposite the hotel across the Cruden burn, where houses have now been erected, and would lease the land for farm cropping and such, and a potato patch where yearly the back-breaking work was picked by much of the staff and local people.
Both Angus and Madge were generous to a fault and never scrimped on anything, but for the good of the pickers and all who worked in other areas of the hotel. No one had any reason to complain on their association. The hotel also ran a hatchery in an enclosed part of the field, fresh eggs for the breakfast table. In addition, the hotel ran a hen battery above the garage that adjoined to the recreation hall, and with a vegetable patch and large greenhouse, one could say the hotel was fairly self-sufficient. All other produce, fish, meat, poultry and game were mostly bought locally, and like a spider's web caught the delight of the till pinging in the bar in return.
The Kilmarnock Arms Hotel was, and still very much is, part of the community. Bring back the gong, which announced lunch, high tea and dinner.
The respect engendered by the village people towards Angus and Madge was both moving and heartfelt. Much more could be written and stamped with passion and warmth, but this necessary has been written. Gratitude for all.
These were happy days for Angus and Madge Carmichael and their family, which will always be remembered.
Any community as it stands today has come from somewhere. You've already met some of the current historians of Cruden Bay and their stories of as they've remembered or has been passed on to them. A lot of folk have moved out of the village in years gone past, but still hold it dear to their hearts. One such person is a Mr. Ewan Carmichael, who now resides in Edinburgh. And I have to thank Ewan greatly, for he has been such a super support to me, albeit from a distance, in carrying on the Historians of Cruden Bay project. Ewan has kindly taken time and energy to write a beautiful account of his parents' contribution to our village.